Okay, so I did get several questions today, all kind of overlapping, talking about using flowers in resin, talking about how to use them, do I need to dry them, how do I seal them, do I need to seal them, that kind of thing. So pretty much when it comes to resin or sorry, flowers or anything else in resin, and whether or not you need to seal it, the best advice I can tell you is, will getting the item wet change its appearance? If the answer is yes, then you need to seal it. Okay, and that almost always includes flowers. So then the question becomes, okay, well, if we need to seal the flowers, then what do we need to seal them with? So one of my favorite things to seal flowers with is our resin gloss sealer spray. This is a clear based spray that will also give a clear finish to your resin castings. Pretty good stuff. And I will do like a couple of light coats. You just kind of like that. Don't do it on like that because it will get gummy pretty quickly. But I'll do a couple of light coats, like I might do a couple of short bursts, wait 15 or 20 minutes, make sure it's dry, come back, flip the flowers over and do that. So before you do this though, you need to be sure your flowers are dry. And what that kind of comes down to is a personal preference. So there's a couple different methods, and all of this too is on our blog. So if you go to resinobsession.com and just type in the search box up at the top left, drying flowers, you should come up with about, 6, 8, 10 blog posts that talks about, drying flowers and using flowers in resin to kind of give you some ideas on what to do. You can do the microwave method, where basically you put the flowers in the microwave and cook them, minute and a half, and you've got dried flowers. You can also use them with parchment paper and press them between the pages of a book. And it takes about 2 weeks or so to get really good and dry flowers. The other thing you can do too that I have here this evening is contact paper. This, in my experience, what I liked the best about the contact paper method was for the flowers or flower petals that weren't perfectly flat, say like rose petals, so it's kind of curved, or tulip petals. The contact paper helps to accommodate that, or helps to compensate for that. But we've got some good information on our blog and that kind of thing, covering all that. So, excuse me. Anyway, so all right. Well, we've got a few more minutes, so everybody, keep rolling in your questions. We got a little more time before I have to go this evening. Let me see. We've got a few more questions here. Okay, so Dana in Oklahoma wants to know, I made a heart pendant and one side of it is sticky, didn't cure properly. What do I do with the sticky area? Do I glue something to cover it or pour a little resin on top? Okay, now who hasn't had this happen? Self-included. Okay, this is just from time to time, something just, it doesn't cure right. It's a little sticky. It's a little tacky. So if it's just what I call tape tacky, okay, so it's no different than you putting your finger on a piece of tape and the tape, it's just that kind of sticky. Then you could do one of two things. Actually, you could do one of three things. Number one, you could coat it with another layer of resin. Number two, you could sand it off. Hopefully it's not too deep. And generally that's what I do with my polyester pieces that are still a little sticky on top. Or number three, the other thing you could do too is put on a layer of the resin gloss sealer spray. So if your pieces, however, are gooey, like you're putting your finger in and it's like toothpaste and you're getting strings back and that kind of thing, yeah, unfortunately, you're just going to have to toss those and start over. But just if it's a little sticky or a little tacky, nothing major, nothing we can't already work with. So, okay. Brigitte wants to know, I used a real acorn to make a silicone mold, but when I cast the acorns, they always come out hazy. How can I remedy this problem? Okay, great question, and something I work on a lot with people with resin casting and mold making. Whatever you use to make your mold from is going to then impart that surface onto subsequent castings. So the reason that's important is if you want super shiny, glossy castings, then your template needs to be super shiny and glossy. So if you want a super shiny acorn casting, then somehow you're going to have to make that acorn super shiny and glossy before you use it as your mold template. In this case, I don't necessarily have a really easy answer. Honestly, I would probably try and coat it with some resin. Like I would probably coat it and then maybe hang it up and let the resin drip off, because the resin's going to cure nice and shiny. And then that's what I would use then to make my silicone mold. Your other alternative is, okay, so let's say, you made this mold and the castings are coming out a little hazy. You're like, I don't know, I'm not crazy about this. You can recoat those castings with another layer of resin, or my old standby, the resin gloss sealer spray. So you can give that a try as well. So anyway, okay. All right, guys, so it is 9:26. I can't believe how quickly this has gone. We've just got a few more minutes. So if somebody's got another question, I've probably got time to answer it before we finish up this evening. And if not, then I've got another question here I can use. Okay. Going. Any more questions? Okay. So Kelly wants to know, what is the best method to polish a sphere mold? And I'm going to assume maybe Kelly, there's a little typo there, and maybe she meant, what is the best method to polish a resin sphere? Because obviously once you've made the mold, you can't really polish it. So what is the best method to polish a resin sphere? And quite frankly, that goes along with, what is the best method to polish resin in general? So in general, epoxy does not do well with like buffing wheels and compound. Generally, it's too much heat and too much friction that the resin actually melts. So if you want a resin that is going to polish with a buffing wheel and buffing compound, it either needs to be a polyurethane or a polyester. Okay, so when I do it, I have a huge polishing cabinet, big wheel, and I use the Fabuluster polishing compound. You put it on the wheel and you put it on there, and you just do little spots at a time, and all that. If I have an epoxy casting that isn't shiny enough, then I do the gloss sealer spray, or I do another layer of resin. So, okay, awesome. All right, well, I do have one other thing that I want to share with you for those of you who have hung in this evening. So, bear with me a minute. I'm going to turn the camera around so you can see what I'm talking about. And you get to see the whole office. Okay, let's see if I can't get this. So, let's see. Bear with me, I'm still here. Okay. All right, can you guys see my computer screen? You may not be able to see it, so we may have to talk. Okay, all right. Okay, so why don't I just do this, because there we go. Let's make everybody really sick. So it's not showing up really well on the computer screen, sadly. So here's what I want to do for you this evening. So obviously you guys are really interested in resin, and I want to help you with your resin projects. You may not know, but I wrote a little book a couple years ago called Resin Jewelry Making, and I want to help you get a copy tonight for the cheap. Okay, so if you go to resinobsession.com, there's some links on the left. Click on the second link, which says books. Once you click on that, the Resin Jewelry Making book is the third from the left. Okay, normally it's priced at $7.99. Add a copy to your cart, and when you check out, on the first page on the right side, it's going to ask if you have a promotional code. I want you to use the code SPOOKY, SPOOKY. Okay, happy Halloween, everyone. I love Halloween. So use the code SPOOKY, and for the next 24 hours, you can get a copy of that book for 96 cents. Okay, what'll happen is you'll type in your promotional code, you'll check out, and within an hour or so, hopefully, if you placing your order, you should get another email that tells you how to download the book. If you don't see it in the next hour, check your junk email or your spam folder or something, because sometimes those emails can get gobbled up there. Otherwise, send us an email and we'll be sure that you get your copy. Okay, so you have until October 19th, 11:59 p.m. Eastern, to get a copy of my book, Resin Jewelry Making, for 96 cents by using coupon code SPOOKY at checkout. So anyway, thanks everyone for joining me this evening. If you haven't already, be sure to like us on Facebook, so that way you can get notified of future updates. You can also find us on Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, some other fun places. And while you're at resinobsession.com, by all means, please sign up for our mail list, because I'm sure to share the best coupons and deals and specials and all that with my favorite Resin Obsession besties. And we do have our once a year Seconds in Imperfect mold sale coming up, and so you don't want to miss that. So anyway, thanks everyone. This video will be available for replay here, and if you're watching this after this has been put up live, by all means, please ask your questions in the comment boxes below, and I'll be happy to answer them. So thanks everyone, and if you like this live broadcast, please let me know, and let me know if you want to do another one. We could maybe make a habit of this. So thanks everyone, and I enjoyed seeing you, and we'll talk again soon.